Hello
and welcome
to the Minimum Wage Podcast.
We read the names above our pay grade. Oh,
he did it with us. Mercy Lord.
Dear Lord in heaven.
I'm very happy about that, actually. Episode
Indeed.
20.
Episode
We've
20.
finally gotten the guest on board with the intro.
Indeed.
Heck yeah, dude. So today we're joined by Tim.
What's up?
Tim is a software developer. He went to college at the same university we're both in. Dropped out, started working on software development. I'm not saying he dropped out forever. I'm saying taking a break right now. He's saying otherwise. He's like, that school shit.
Nah, I'm over all that.
Yeah, he's over all that apparently, dude.
Indeed.
But I might be able to entice him back. I might be able to entice him back to
Just
school.
maybe.
We'll
Just
see.
maybe.
We'll see, dude.
You gotta start your own company.
And then pay for your school.
And then pay for my school.
If that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
A cool one too.
Okay, I'm gonna send him to a cool school too.
Yeah.
I think if you're going for like programming and that, going to AU is a pretty good choice. I mean, yeah, like it is like, it's AU, but they have a pretty good program.
Yeah, I don't know that I would send him back here.
Yeah,
because I'd probably want him at my headquarters, which was probably not going to be here. So if he was going to school, rest assured he's putting in some time at the company too.
It's the fact of the matter.
Doggone it. What's this man think he can do? Take school full time?
You're gonna put me in a box. Just put me in a nice box, all right?
I'll put you in a box. I'll put you in a little tube.
You put me in a nice little tube.
I'll put you in a Japanese little capsule to take your nap.
You're gonna put me in the capsule and then ship me down a tube into a sleeping compartment, with all the other employees.
With all the other employees.
It's like work time.
The only thing you can do in your capsule is sleep or request to be pulled out to go to work early.
David, I can't sleep. Can I go to work early?
Certainly.
Certainly.
You can't.
Yes.
You can't.
I thought you'd never
have
asked.
breakfast early. You can't exercise early.
No.
You can't go to the bathroom early.
But
you can work
you
early.
can go to work early.
But if you go to work, you can then choose to take a break and use one of your breaks and use the bathroom or do whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah,
right.
but you just.
But it takes away.
You're
from
selling your
your
break early.
Yep.
But each quarter-hour break costs you 3 hours on the clock, though.
Yes.
So that's an hour you don't get paid for.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, what a system. What a method, dude.
I'm a monster.
My business is highly efficient. What can I say, dude?
That's the bottom line.
Man, you're just pissed because your business isn't efficient like mine, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, no, these people aren't slaves. They're happy to be here.
That's the fact of the matter.
For 3 hours of on the clock, you can go down the slide.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that sounds a little too fun.
A little bit too fun.
How about
too
8
fun.
hours? 8 hours?
Yeah. How about they give overtime? They give us 12 hours and then maybe the slide.
Okay, yeah. They
If we're
work the
feeling
full
generous.
day, and then they give us 4 hours of overtime. And they give us the 4 hours of overtime.
To ride on the slide.
To go on the slide,
yeah.
They can do whatever they want with the other 8. But the 4 hours of overtime gets you on the slide.
Yep, that's the slide ticket.
That's the slide ticket.
That's the bottom line. Anyways, we're talking about technology on this here lovely episode of Minimum Wage Podcast.
Episode 20 blows my mind. First of all, let me just say that for the record.
Yeah, I was about to say, before we get in with that, it is need to be brought up that we now have another content channel on which we post our clips.
Yeah, MWP Clips. We've got it. It's up on YouTube now, so everyone go to the description right now. Pause this video, go to the description, hit MW Clips, and go watch our Clips channel. It's where we're going to be posting little short pieces of content from the podcast, and it's a much more consumable form. So for those of you that don't have an hour to watch, you might have 10 minutes.
Indeed.
You go watch a
You
clip.
go
Doc,
watch.
got it?
You watch a little clipsy.
You watch a little clip.
clipsy whipsy.
If you are
Clipsy.
taking this, then it'll be up on screen now.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's wild, isn't it?
That is wild. And good thing I am taking it because
Awesome.
it will be up on screen right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so go over there, subscribe, hit the
Clips
bell,
channel.
be notified every time we post a new video on the Clips channel.
Yep.
And
like and subscribe.
like and
Like and
subscribe. Thank you.
Like and subscribe.
Dude,
Follow our
you are such a
Instagram.
natural, man. Like, yeah. We need Tim on the pod every single time.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just
Come
do it. Just do
Come
it.
on.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, technology is crazy. First of all, let me just say,
Which one is the first of
I'm
all?
worried. I'm worried. The
About?
first of all is OpenAI.
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 Did you see the thing I sent you?
No, what'd you send?
It was something. It was basically like it didn't have the prompt that someone asked it, right? But it must have been something like, "Is the Earth dinosaur shaped?"
What?
Cause yeah. Cause like there's this Instagram or something group called like Dinosaur Earth Society. You know, we believe that the Earth is dinosaur shaped
You know,
Yeah.
rather than like flat or spherical or anything.
the internet has allowed for some interesting groups.
Anyway,
Yeah.
like and OpenAI just said like, nah, the Earth is not dinosaur shaped. It's like a ball that's only affected by like gravity and like its spin and shit like that. And like it said that there were parts of the Earth that might look like animals, but the whole thing doesn't look like any animal.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I know the Earth is dinosaur
I can't
shaped.
believe that it would even begin to say
No,
that. That's
no.
just ridiculous. You know, maybe it's not as far as I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's not as good as I thought it was. That's
you know,
crazy.
I think we're all right.
Actually,
Yeah.
hard
We
water.
okay.
I thought AI was like getting bad. It was getting like to that point where it was scary good. Now, you know, I know it gets things wrong. I know it gets things wrong. That's messed up, dude. But yeah, the reality is OpenAI is insane. It's like actually crazy. They're running on the GPT-3 model, I believe. It's a neural network model that is extremely good at generalization, which is like basically I can type in anything to this neural network. It'll use that as input, and then it'll generate an incredibly good output. So you kind of gotta guide it a little bit to what you want it to give you. So say for instance, like I have to write an essay. Okay, I am in a history class, much like John here. I have to write an essay on like Abraham Lincoln. Okay,
Okay.
I say OpenAI, write me an essay on Abraham Lincoln, specifically around the battles he helped conduct in the Civil War, like something like that.
Because you
And-
did that, yeah.
And yeah, you want to have like a specific topic for your paper, like the Civil War and Abraham Lincoln's involvement in it.
Okay.
So you give it that input, okay? And it'll create a paper for you. And it's not a bad paper either.
Yeah.
What do you have here for us?
I pulled up the OpenAI website here, you know, and they got some stuff about it. This is talking about how it uses GPT-3 and Codex to do some stuff and things
Yeah.
with millions of user input.
Yeah, it's got an insane
That's what that says.
It's got an insane load of user input. Yeah, because that's a lot of words. You said that in like
Yes.
5 words or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's tons of user input they have to work with, and that's really how the model has gotten so big. They've just gotten so many people giving it different things, and so it's been able to learn. And also in the first stage of training, they actually had a prompt after it answered your question, where you could rate how good the question was.
Which
So
is
it's another
good, yeah.
it's another level of training for
Yeah.
the model.
It's got
Yeah.
that machine learning going hard.
Dude, it's wild, man.
We gotta go burn it down.
But people were kind of getting like a little miffed. I'll say that's a great word for what it is. A little miffed about students, computer science students specifically, using OpenAI to create their homeworks for them.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so they would get like a homework prompt. It's
That's
like
really funny.
write code to search through an array for the highest value.
And so you just tell it to write code to search an array
Then you
with the
just
highest
literally
value.
take the homework prompt, put it into OpenAI,
AI.
and then you tell it the language, and it's even good enough to format the code.
That's the thing about AI is it's going to make it to the point where we don't really...
We have to kill it with fire. We have to kill.
Well, we
it with
don't
fire.
have to know anything because it's it's all
Yeah. No, I was watching a video about it, and they started talking about universal basic income.
Yeah.
Which, do you know what that is, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah. So universal basic income. You said, yeah, you know what it is, but I realize people out here maybe don't know.
Right, yeah.
The concept is basically we'll get to a point in life. He's looking it up. We'll get to a point in life where people don't actually have to do anything anymore for the world to run like it is, more or less.
Yeah.
We can automate most of the tasks that humans do right now for all of production.
Yeah.
So I could, go to the grocery store, get my stuff, go to the self-checkout, and say for instance I go get an apple. That apple could have been grown by AI, picked by AI, transported by AI, and then put out to the store by AI.
Yeah.
And then I just get it, and I go use a self-checkout to buy the item. So there really could be a point in time where AI does pretty much everything.
AI want to care about us?
Wait, because it's
it's
not like an actual being that has choices. It's just a model that we've made with code and program, and we can just
So
alter
you're not
that code.
talking about like a generalized AI then?
super generalized. It's like that's honestly coming. Like that will be here.
Yeah,
Sooner
I
than we
think
know it.
so. I think
Sooner than
so.
we know it, honestly. If we think about Moore's law and the rate of acceleration that we're going to see on neural networks, this is the worst that they'll ever be. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, facts.
This is the worst that
Wait.
they'll ever be.
This that we have now.
Yeah, this is literally the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah. Well,
They're only going to get better from here.
so one of the things is like can something do something that it's not told to do? Because I mean, all these things which
at
they have
life.
now, they're doing what they've been told to do.
At a
And they're
certain point,
pretty good at it.
yeah, at a certain point, we're going to get it to where we told the AI to improve itself, and it's going to do exactly that and become smarter than any human on Earth, for sure.
Also, like, we don't tell AIs to make up their own languages. But, like, when they get two AIs talking, they make up their own language. Like,
Yeah.
it's essentially inevitable. And it makes sense because, like,
Well,
you
I
do
mean-
that with, like, every person you meet, you know? Like, you know, you speak the same
But the reason they
language.
make up a new language is because they're like, well, it's because if they've been told to talk to each other, then they're like, well, what's the most efficient way of doing it? The language they've been given is not, so they make up their own.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, if they've been told to talk to each other.
Which still is just doing what they've been told.
Right.
Until an AI does something that it completely was not told, there was no prompt, it just said, this is what I'm doing because why not? Then I don't think we have a sentient AI.
Right.
Yeah.
Even then, we saw the question was like, what does it mean to be
Sentient.
sentient in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, dude, especially when you think about, like, simulation theory, right? There's a lot of people in this world today that believe that we're AI ourselves. So if we're AI and we think we're sentient, then we could obviously make AI that we think is sentient as well. So if you were a subscriber to simulation theory, then you would say, oh, yeah, it's super easy to see the argument for sentient or for AI at a certain level actually having sentience, right? I don't think it matters a whole lot.
Right.
Because the reality is, if we don't let AI have the reins on anything, really, doesn't matter if they're sentient or if we think they're sentient or not.
Right, yeah. one of the things that I find interesting is like there are a bunch of games these days that look realistic as shit. All
Yeah.
right? Like I'm telling you, they are pretty good looking, and they only recently just made massive upgrades in the Unreal Engine, and it's just marvelous.
Marvelous.
It looks
marvelous.
real, and that's just like right now. Like think about what we're gonna have in like 10 years.
That's
right.
wild.
At that point, they're gonna have like randomly made NPCs that have like a whole life story and they have like a personality and like their own.
That's Dwarf Fortress
and all that. Like
that's Dwarf Fortress. Like,
already exists.
Oh my!
You see, that's the thing. That's what I love about.
Like,
I love
Fortress,
technology
like,
because you can just find out that things already exist.
Like the graphics aren't what you're talking about. Like where they all look unique and like super realistic and stuff.
But again, it's
but
just
they
a matter
do
of time.
have super like detailed interaction with the world. Like I've got a Dwarf Fortress going right now, right? And I couldn't get my guys to put the fucking goblets in the right storage place, right? Like next to the dining room.
Yeah.
So all of my dwarves were getting pissed because they kept drinking out of their hands.
That's funny.
So eventually, like, I figured out where the cups were, and I forbade cups from that stockpile, and then they moved them to the right spot.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Before it's like, okay,
Dwarf Fortress is really good. Play Dwarf Fortress.
Once they have a concept, you just take time, apply nice graphics, realistic graphics. I mean, they're talking, they have beautiful looking graphics. I mean, they're just incredible these days.
Yeah.
And then you just make their the history and backstories, like, you know, more and more complicated as time goes on. And then eventually, in like 10 years, 15, 20 years, I mean, it's just wild.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Already they've got something called random face, or no, this person doesn't exist.com, I believe. This person doesn't exist generates a random person's face using AI that actually doesn't exist. So it takes a conglomeration, it takes all the images that it's ever been given, which is probably like millions. Probably hundreds of millions of
maybe even
images of people, maybe
I'm
even billions.
I'm on this this person doesn't exist.com.
It might not be .com. Look up this person doesn't exist.
Dadgummit.
Anyway, yeah, so the idea is you hit refresh and it shows you a new person generated by AI.
Whack.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. Are we there? There it is.
There.
Yeah,
that person exists.
That person doesn't exist.
I don't believe it.
That person was fully generated by AI. Hit refresh. Fully generated by AI. Hit refresh.
See, that one is definitely AI because I was kind of messed up there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep on refreshing here. I mean,
they look like actual just people. That's just a person.
He might exist.
That's just a person who exists somewhere. But no, it's all AI.
That's just AI.
That's just AI. None of these people exist.
None of these people. This is incredible.
It's crazy, dude. Yeah, you could just sit there for hours.
Welcome to AI, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, it's crazy.
All right, we gotta do something besides
just look at random people's faces.
Yeah.
People that don't exist. Mercy Lord. Yeah, I could sit there forever and watch that.
Artificial intelligence, though. Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
Wild.
We were talking about on a previous podcast.
Dwarf Fortress.
About people being on Mars by the year 2042, and we placed a bet.
Yes.
Of 25 cents.
25 cents.
Why that?
I bet that we would have humans on Mars by the year 2042. He bet that we won't.
2042?
2042.
2042.
Okay.
Now, what is your opinion on this matter here?
I think it's doable.
Do you think it'll happen?
Yeah.
You think it's probable?
Fairly probable.
You think it's a losing bet?
I think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna be able to do it.
No, I should have got a second opinion to the
So,
Lord.
well,
I'm
okay.
at 25
You'll go miss
So-
out on that quota.
I'm gonna
So-
miss out on that quota.
Here's the problem, right? In like a couple years, we're gonna be back on the moon, right?
Yes.
Thanks to Artemis, NASA. Yay.
Yay.
Yay, going back to space. Love that. And then Elon Musk.
More like Elon Tusk.
Got him.
Got him good.
Got him real good. Is going to be going to Mars within like 8 years, I think. So ain't looking so good for you,
It
boy.
ain't looking good at all. 8 years is wild to me.
Hey, dude, it is moving at a fast pace, which makes me happy because it means that I might actually have a chance.
I can't wait till the monkeys like get Elon and like start putting chips in his brain.
Oh yeah. So are we gonna talk about that?
Oh, did I talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about the
Let's talk about
monkeys.
that. All right, I'm pulling
Okay.
up my links.
He's pulling up the links.
Pulling up the links, baby.
I'll give a little preface to the story. So those of you that don't know, Elon Musk has a company called Neuralink.
Does
No,
he now?
Neuralink, does he now? He does now. Neuralink, the concept of the company is they want you to be able to interface with your technology better.
The primary reason is to fix humans who cannot do things. Their first mission is to restore sight to the blind,
That's wild.
which is wild.
I mean,
That's
the
their
real
first mission.
mission is to make Elon a robot brain that can live
That's-
forever.
Their initial mission is to get it so that they can fix all of these problems. And
That's
through
just
that,
what they say.
and through that, gain enough knowledge to, after they've already fixed, our problems, then say, now it's time for some upgrades.
Yes.
And then
no,
they go to town.
he's using the disabled as guinea pigs because he can't
Essentially.
up his own perfect brain.
Bro, actually, that's kind of wild. That's a wild theory, to be honest with you.
That's the fact of the matter.
That's actually a
That's
crazy
the fact of the
theory.
matter.
Yeah.
if we're being honest. But, however, I mean, is it entirely wrong?
No,
Because
no.
he's offering them a chance to be cured of a terrible thing.
Because like if this
And if he
is
cares
a
of-
good technology for society,
Yeah.
then this is how it gets developed.
And
Facts.
I think that this is probably the best way to do it. I mean,
I'm just
If we're being
not
honest.
looking at it with rose-colored
Right, right.
glasses. Like
Well-
I know what his motivation is.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is because like what other way are you gonna test? He's tested on animals, which has resulted in the death of animals.
Yeah.
However, I think that if the technology works, it'll be far better in the greater good in long
Yeah.
term. And we can talk about the ethics of that, but like
Well, see,
You
my big
know.
concern is like the you create like an actual gap between like the higher class and the lower classes.
Well,
you know.
it's not gonna not necessarily because the technology isn't gonna be expensive for long.
Doubt. Like higher end computers are always more expensive.
Yeah, you're saying they're gonna make a dumbed down version for the peasants?
No, I think they're gonna make a cheaper version for the peasants.
Have you seen
Yeah,
how?
Yeah,
which
I don't-
will then in
which will
turn be more
create
durable.
compounding
Have you
interest,
seen
which
how
will
much
make
it
it
costs?
impossible for people to rise up.
How?
If you haven't seen how much it costs,
Oh, you're saying it's gonna be a super expensive thing? They're gonna have to
Right, because
go
you're
into debt to buy
overriding.
it?
no.
Yeah, because like
I'm fairly certain the actual chip is upwards of $1,000, and then the surgery is a couple hundred because it's done by
right, you're talking
a
about
robot.
eyesight though.
What?
You're talking about the eyesight chip though. I'm
Well-
talking down the line.
It's all the same chip. You would just then be paying for a camera and then some wires to hook up the camera. The processing will all be done not like on the chip. Take camera feed, offload it on so I don't think they've chosen how they're going to offload it. They're either going to do it on something else which you buy from them, or just on your phone, which they're probably just going to have it on your phone, because phone processors, I mean, they're just crazy these days. You can process anything. And through that, it would be fairly inexpensive, because he is trying to make it an inexpensive product, because even if you think about it in terms of him just trying to make money, you make more money off of more sales to everyone, as opposed to just to the elites. Yeah. So I mean, he wants it to be a product that is available to everyone, so that everyone buys one. Yeah, 100%. Because everyone needs one. Because that's how you market it. Everyone needs this. Come get this. First it's like, here, we fix this. Everyone who has problems, come get them fixed, and they get them fixed. Dude. But it's not. It's ultimately based off compared to the medical bills. I just worry about when we reach the point that it goes beyond just making people be able to see. When we get to the actual upgrades portion of what's possible with this technology, right? That's when it starts to become competitive, right? Right. Well, that's when we start competing with other countries. We're gonna need to have an enhanced workforce. We're gonna need, you know what I'm saying? Some sort of government regulation on it, in terms of what you can do ethically, how old do you have to be before we're showing things in brains, if you have a baby, are they just popping them out, freaking pop up on the brain and toss it in, maybe we should wait till the age of 18, or I definitely don't think wait till the brain is fully developed, a developing brain, right? Yeah. So that will have to be set in stone. What age you have to be, unless they have a kid's version, because they can remove them. Yeah, that's an interesting prospect. What would the effect of growing up with this technology be? It's just about as non-invasive as this technology can be. Yeah. Now, obviously, in being that non-invasive, they still cut your skin, peel it back, drill a hole in your skull, inside your skull, stick 1,000 something little things in your brain. Yeah. However, how they do it is smart, because they avoid all the veins. Yeah. It's pretty cool how it works, and they poke in each one. It's crazy technology, crazy. It's absolutely wild. But and then it just sits as a part of your head then, and you still have your hair, and it's it's just a part of you then. Yeah. And they're thinking about wireless charging, which you just attach a little charger to your head every night. Put a little magnet on your head.
That's wild. Gotta charge myself.
I gotta charge my Neuralink.
I charged myself today to see if I could see.
But honestly, how else are you gonna charge that?
Facts. You're gonna be plugging something into your skull every night? Hell no.
Nope.
No
wireless.
way. No way. The thing about it is that's crazy to me.
Excuse me.
Is when you think about with the kids, right? Mm-hmm. If you have Neuralink, if you want to put it into a kid's brain,
a kid
I don't
would go
like
nuts.
that. First of all, I hate that.
No.
Yeah, I think the kid would go nuts, but also I think the brain would atrophy, because the bottom line is your brain is like any other part of your body. If it's not being used to its full capacity, then it's going to want to save some space. It's going to want to save some power, and therefore it's going to atrophy the parts that aren't being used, right?
Yeah.
So if you have
I don't think that's
doing
true.
Things for you,
if you're blind, that portion of your brain doesn't go to waste.
No, instead,
your other senses, you essentially double back a third of your brain.
Well, so
but it's not that portion of your brain atrophies. It it just becomes repurposed essentially.
Yeah. Well,
but like there was an experiment where like they took essentially like the optic nerves of a squirrel, I think, right? And they wired it up to like its audio cortex or whatever, right? And it rewired itself into a visual cortex.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
So,
it was able to see with that portion of its brain.
That's wild. Well, then the question is, how do you purpose it for what you want it to be purposed for?
You really like. I think essentially what you do is you just plug and play. Like the brain is very adaptable.
So, well, then the question is, like, you got this person, you plug in this Neuralink to enhance some type of learning or something like that.
I imagine it's kind of gonna be like. You know how, like, if you're trying to get a kidney, like, you can have, like, a perfect donor and, like, the perfect blood type. And, like, you have to consider all of that stuff, but then, like, you can still have complications with it.
That's not really what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel like figuring out, like, how to connect into the brain is always going to be, like...
Oh, yeah, especially on a developing brain. But what I'm talking about is just the impact, like possible brain damage, not from the insertion of the device, but because they rely on the device from an early age to do certain mental tasks.
But the thing doesn't do mental tasks for you, right?
No.
It's
what would it do?
It's essentially an optic nerve, right?
Well, this one is. The one right now, I'm talking about down the line.
Hang on. Currently... You can't really do that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to like talk about a technology that does not exist and really hasn't even been laid out of how it would work. It's just a concept. So we can like talk about it, but it's like
we would have to like define what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How we would have to make the product and then start talking about it.
How would you actually like enhance how someone thinks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like that's like, okay, well, first, how do we think?
So
like,
here's my idea, right?
And then how do you like offload that to like link it to the internet or something? You like
Neuralink allows you to like essentially connect a new sensor to the brain, right? This camera.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is like you could take some kind of a processor, right? Like some sort of an artificial processor, and you could connect it to the brain in a similar way.
But you'd have to like
in the brain
find a way to interface it though.
But they have a way to interface it with the what's it called again?
But if you're restoring
Neuralink,
if you're restoring the site that's hooking up like something that was already there that has been lost.
Yeah.
Or something that should be there that just isn't. If you're introducing like additional processing,
right?
You know, that's a bit more complex.
It is more complex, but
pretty much that's probably possible. All we need to do is to probably find out like how the brain processes, because as you probably know, like our brains are complex as heck. They're like constantly like changing their own chemistry, and we like, to be honest, we don't understand too much about our brains.
Right.
They're crazy complicated.
Yeah.
But once we increase our understanding of our own brains, then we can probably talk about, like how we can increase our brain function.
Okay.
But as of now, it's like, if we hook up a wire to where the
I think we can still talk about it,
Well, it's just like...
No sense in talking about it is what you're saying?
It's like there's no sense in talking about it. It's like it's hard to talk about because you're talking about something that just doesn't exist yet. And so it's like...
Anything you're saying is speculation.
Well,
yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about technology if we're not going to speculate on it?
Well, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying speculate to that extent.
What I was saying is
where you have to invent the product and then start speculating on it.
How would you
speculate about whatever I want? Just know it's speculation.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, well, how are we? How's that happening?
How is that happening? That's
I don't know how it happens, but I can imagine what the end result looks like.
Yeah. And I can imagine the
Because I
problems
know-
that might
But I
come.
want to imagine how it happens.
Yeah, I want to imagine how it
That's what I'm
happens
saying.
too. But I mean,
Okay, well, I'm saying, like, if you want to imagine how it happens, it's probably something very similar to what they have now. Just, like, they figure out a new kind of connector, and they figure out some way to attach a processor to the brain, and then essentially allow the brain to figure out a way to incorporate that. You know, you don't have to tell the brain what to do with it necessarily, as long as you can get some kind of interface going. And if you can get it to accept it,
But like, what
They-
would that do?
maybe
Whatever
it makes
the
you
brain
think
wants.
faster.
You know.
Maybe it makes you think faster. Maybe we make our brains completely modular. You know, like you
If you do
slap in a new visual cortex, and all of a sudden you can see 1,000 frames a second.
It's possible that might, you know, maybe make the human mind go insane if it was
Yeah, absolutely.
right,
Have you
right,
seen
too
Edge
fast.
Runners?
What now?
Have you seen Edge Runners?
no,
No.
what is that?
No,
Oh, okay. It's an anime on Netflix.
Okay.
It's
I don't watch
10,
Netflix.
10 25-minute episodes, so really
Awesome.
quick watch.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's super
Yeah.
good.
250 minutes.
Yeah. The plot moves like a little too fast, but like small complaint.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Word. What's it about though?
It's about this kid it's about this poor kid who's like, his mom has him like in this university, right? For essentially for cybernetically enhanced individuals, right? To be essentially like a businessman or something like that one day. And then basically his mom gets killed and he becomes like a cybernetically enhanced criminal.
Indeed. So
Wild.
And the show is about essentially the ascent that all of these edge runners go on, right? Because they have this like continual thirst to continue to enhance themselves. And they all have this god complex to where they think that they're like some kind of like chosen one that can be enhanced perfectly and never go insane.
interesting.
But inevitably,
they all go insane.
they all go nuts. They all go on a killing spree.
Right.
And then
yeah.
like the super cops come in and like take them out.
I think
Yeah.
that we're gonna like eventually get to the point where like we have, you know, tech that's like, you know, crazy like
We
that.
have cyborg
Right,
criminals.
but
And when I'm talking about the
And that's
difference
simply-
between the rich and the poor, that's the level I'm talking about.
Mm.
Is where this is a very
well,
developed
what
industry.
poor will not be as bad as poor is now, though.
In certain ways it won't. In
I
certain
think
ways
it'd
it will.
yeah, in a lot
Because
of ways
it's only
it'll be
it's
worse.
only going to get more crowded. It's only going to get more dirty.
Not unless there are improvements to that, because there are people who are working on ways in which to fix those type of issues, and that they have made progress, and they are making progress, and they have plans to fix the issues. The unfortunate problem is that it just takes time. It
Yeah,
takes
100%.
people, time,
It's
and
been
money.
an issue.
Work, time, and money. I mean,
It's essentially the fundamental issue of civilization, of
Yeah.
growing civilization.
However,
rather.
it has actually improved. According to math has, you know, shown that overall across the world things have improved. The poor places have gotten better, even if it's just slightly better.
Yeah.
That there have been improvements, and you know,
Where
as-
is that seen? Like what
long as there's
what
improvement.
metric is that seen by? Just wealth per capita,
No, I think it's like
happiness index, or like
it's like who's able to eat, who has water, who has electricity, who. You know,
okay.
Yeah,
like those percentages of the
Yeah.
basic needs.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Who has a house?
I think that's probably true because the reality is most developed nations now have been helped quite a bit by first world and second world nations, or most developing nations.
Now,
like you know,
That's true.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of places in the East, specifically the Middle East, and in some places in Africa, where they are very rich countries, but they're built almost entirely on the backs of slaves.
Yeah, slave
Yeah.
labor is horrible, dude.
Like there's
Abu Dhabi.
There's a lot of slavery.
Okay, but
over
what do you
there.
call America?
America? It was built by slaves
Yes.
down south and a bit up north.
Yes.
But
There were also
it
Irish
has
slaves up north. but
since
whatever.
it has since transitioned.
Into a new form of slavery?
Well, there's always going to be a
Not
form
really.
of slavery. There's always going to be a form of slavery. If you don't have full freedom, then it's slavery. And if you don't have exorbitant amounts of money, then you're not fully free.
I wouldn't quite say just because you don't have money doesn't mean you're entirely free.
Go on a yacht right now. Are you free to do that?
I mean,
Ish.
No, you need money. You need the money to be able to do that.
I
Not
mean,
necessarily.
that's
Or
no,
you need some other currency. So like you have a friend that has a
that's
yacht.
not
You have
quite how that works though, because somebody else like made that yacht.
What I'm
Well,
saying
what
is
gives
that
you the
like
right to go
prison
on that yacht?
labor. I'm like Dalen's kind of talking about wage slavery.
yeah.
I'm talking like prison labor has always existed in this country.
Yeah.
there is prison
They're being paid
labor,
like $2 per hour.
and
Yeah, we
that
have
gets
by
more,
far the highest.
Well, that gets more into the prison systems and whether or not just straight up incarceration is the best way to deal with people who are doing crimes, and whether or not nonviolent
Nonviolent or not, they're going to the
offenders
same place,
should
more or
be-
less.
should be
Yeah.
put.
If they're
in
very
prison.
violent, they go into a different place just with other very violent people.
I mean, look up how much it
wild.
costs to like send a phone call from prison, though.
Does it
How much
cost
does it
them?
cost?
Yeah, or how much does it cost them or their family?
Mm. Is it an exorbitant number?
Oh, dude.
For real?
You're gonna be shocked.
Yeah.
You're gonna be shocked.
If it's more than like a couple cents, then of course I'm gonna be shocked.
Oh, you're gonna be shocked then.
Oh my.
All right, how much does a prison phone call cost?
Keep in mind, you can probably get like an unlimited talk and text plan right now for like $10.
Yeah, that's why you sneak a phone in.
Currently, interstate
fair.
long distance prison and phone rates are capped at 21 cents a minute for debit and prepaid calls and 25 cents a minute for collect calls.
Where is that?
This is on prisonphonejustice.org. Oh, shit.
What an organization. Prisonphonejustice.org.
We got fcc.gov here.
So what do you think it was?
All right.
Not 21 cents.
The service
Dollars
charges.
at least.
Oh yeah.
Additional. Wait. Okay. Yeah, it's 21 cents a minute for that for prepaid, 25 cents for collect. But there are additional service charges which they could charge you.
So a lot of the time, the way you have to do it, from what I think, it's more of a problem with private prisons actually.
Oh, for real?
Well,
Yeah,
okay, private prisons is a complete other subject.
That's such a
mean,
problem.
Yeah.
that's-
I think
that's another thing.
I haven't read up on this in a while, so I think I'm getting some stuff twisted up. But
Okay.
I know that there are prisons where like they do charge exorbitant. It's because the phone calls are placed through a third-party company,
Yeah.
and they do charge like insanely high rates for it. Like,
Why? Like it shouldn't any phone call be placed through a third-party company? Like I place my phone calls through AT&T.
It's not exactly the same thing. Like, yeah, like the phone lines are always going to be a private company,
Yeah.
but like the phone is owned by the prison. But with this, it's like the phone, like the entire phone system, like to reach, there's like a phone interface to reach the prison, right?
Really?
And that's what you're paying for, essentially.
Odd.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. And yes, I will say,
If y'all want to do like another podcast, like
Um,
I could look up some stuff about it.
Word.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk to you about the prisons next time
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
talk about your app.
I guess we'll save talking about prisons for next time.
Yeah.
What were we talking? We were talking about Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Honestly, like we should do a like a pod collab, and like Sai and I could talk to y'all about it, because like I guarantee she knows like everything about all this shit.
About the prison system?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Word.
That would be fun.
We'll get her on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So one thing that you really wanted to talk about was nuclear.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the fusion.
Yeah, fusion.
The fusion
yeah,
generator.
the fusion.
Yeah.
Nuclear fusion, bro. It is the future of power, electricity.
Yes.
It's gonna be marvelous. And just recently, a massive milestone was reached in fusion power generation.
We have a positive.
We have gained energy.
Yeah.
We have gotten back more power than was put in by a margin of 50%. So, like, not only
Good
have
Lord.
we had net energy gain, which how this particular fusion works is they take like a small ball of stuff, half the diameter of a BB pellet, and then they blast it with tons of lasers.
And that's just like pure hydrogen, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
And then it gets so hot that the atoms get close enough to each other that they just kind of fuse to each other.
I thought
and
atoms
then
got far apart when it gets hot.
They move.
They wiggle, right?
Yeah, the
They
wiggle.
move faster and faster, but they're also getting pushed in by these lasers, and so that they just get very quickly just pushed in and then fused. And then what happens is
It's like they wiggle into each other so fast that
Yeah.
pretty
they
much.
stick together.
Yep, pretty much.
Interesting.
And then how it works is you have two hydrogens that result in one helium, but you have less mass than what you had originally. Well, what happens? That extra mass becomes energy. E equals mc squared. Mercy, mercy.
Mercy Lord.
And
mercy,
so-
mercy.
I believe a neutron.
So
It's
is
either-
it four
I think it's an
hydrogens?
electron or a neutron.
Is it two hydrogens or four hydrogens?
two hydrogens fuse to be one helium?
Because there's like three different kinds of hydrogen.
Yeah.
You got your. If it's so, are they taking a ball of deuterium, or is it just the single hydrogen?
I forgot what it is specifically.
Because if it's the single hydrogen, then it would actually take four hydrogens to make one helium.
I think
Because two of the protons would be converted into neutrons.
specifically in this case we're looking at just normal ass hydrogen. Let's see. Oh no, it's a combination of both.
Interesting.
It's a combination of, I guess, one with one neutron, one with two. And then it forms a helium with two. This is, it forms a helium with two neutrons.
Yeah, two
And
neutrons,
the
two
other
protons.
neutron
Yeah.
becomes energy, and that is what is captured.
Oh, wait. Interesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
So
That's
so
wild.
it's the one with one neutron and the one with two neutrons,
Yes.
and then the third neutron becomes the energy.
Yeah.
That is
That
wild.
actually makes
Yeah.
sense.
That is insane.
And so
That
that's
is
how
wild,
fusion
though.
works.
Because I was trying to figure out how there was less mass.
Right,
That didn't
yeah,
make
yeah.
any sense
Yeah.
to me. But that's crazy.
One has one neutron, the other has
Yeah,
two.
well, you're
and then
just deleting
it
a
results in
neutron.
one
Deleting a
gets
neutron.
zapped out because of high heat and high pressure.
Wow.
Crazy thing.
That's
That is
crazy,
wild,
yeah.
dude.
And the strong nuclear force is the one that grabs them as they're moving fast and hit each other, because the strong nuclear force is like a very strong force, but it operates in only like very small
tiny distances, yeah.
only within the distance.
It's like
of
how
a nucleus of an
gravity.
atom.
It's like how you have to be close to the Earth for gravity
Right.
to affect you.
Yeah.
But gravity overall is a lot,
It's
more powerful
yeah.
over long ranges, but
It's like that effect.
atoms can hold themselves
It's like
together.
that effect, but at a tiny, tiny level.
Exactly.
exactly, yeah.
You have to be pretty much touching the particle in order for
Right.
them to fuse.
But once you touch them,
But that makes
They're
you.
fused.
But then you have to
Yeah.
ask the question, like, what is touching?
well, right,
Yeah, fair.
which which the smallest length in the universe is a Planck length.
Yeah.
Yep. Which, yeah, that's it's just wild that they're just like it is the smallest length, and we know what it is.
So fun fact about the Planck length.
Fun fact.
So all objects radiate light at a certain like a bunch of frequencies depending on how hot they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you and I are producing infrared light now
because we're pretty warm.
Yeah, which is why someone with night vision goggles would be able to see us.
Yep.
You heat it up more, like you get to like molten metal,
and then they're releasing some extra stuff.
They're releasing visible light.
Yep.
Which is why it
mad
glows.
bright. Yep.
Yeah. You keep going, you get into ultraviolet.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep going beyond that, you get into gamma, right?
Right. Yeah.
So here's the theory, right?
Oh.
The theory is if you took an object, let's say like you were shining a really bright laser or something at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow you're just heating this object up.
Yep.
Insanely hot, right? And if you heated it up so hot that the wavelength of the light it was producing was shorter than the Planck length, it's theorized that it would collapse into a black hole just because of energy density.
Whoa.
But can you have a wavelength that is less than a Planck length?
I guess, I don't know.
Looks like we'll have to find out.
Yeah.
All right, scientists, hop on that. Come on, give us some answers.
But yeah, that's how you could, in theory, that's how you could create a black hole that's like smaller than a star.
Well, what's interesting is like the fact that black holes evaporate.
Yeah.
So whenever they're done evaporating, they explode. So like hypothetically, if you were to make like a really small black hole, would it just instantly diffuse and then?
No. It wouldn't instantly diffuse. The reason that you don't have naturally occurring small black holes is because you can't shine a light like that on it naturally. Like the only thing powerful, the only force powerful enough naturally occurring to produce that kind of matter energy density is gravity, right?
Mm-hmm.
By squishing all those atoms together like with such a massive mass.
Something that's crazy is there are black holes that are like too big. You know, it's like these should not be able to exist. Like this is extremely big.
Yeah.
And we think that they exist because of back in the early. Actually, I need to go. I'll be right back.
F. That sounded really interesting.
What the hell? Just in the middle of the podcast.
In the middle of a sentence.
What the hell?
Whoa.
Fuck. That's wild.
Dude, yeah, that's an F.
Man. I was actually just waiting to hear what he was going to tell us.
Why
I was
are
so
the black
interested.
holes so big?
Yeah, why are the black holes so big? Dude?
What did they do?
What made the black holes so big?
Dude. What are they up to?
This is wild. This is such a good conversation.
Yeah.
Let's look out the window at him.
Trying to attack me. You see his ass? He's f***ing gone. All right, should we just close it out ourselves?
Hold on. What? No way.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen.
John just left. Mid-pod, he just left and like actually left.
Man said swerve.
He didn't even say a word. He said, "Oh, I gotta go." And literally just left. His laptop is still there. His iPad's still filming.
Bruh, what is going on? Man's left everything.
Man just actually left everything. His phone's right there filming.
I guess he's taking care of some shit.
Taking care of business, I guess.
Taking care of business. All right, well, should we close it out or?
Well, doggone it, I guess.
Yeah.
Without further ado, this has been the Minimum Wage Podcast. Where even the
name
name is
above our pay grade.
Peace.